We're now going to shift to our final 3,200 meter race of the day. The girls 3,200 meters for the 6A classification. Now, as we mentioned at the beginning of this afternoon broadcast, these ladies began this race earlier this morning, but due to lightning in the area, they were halted 1,600 meters into this race. They had to walk off the track, and so now we are going to have a rerun. So we have an interesting situation here for these athletes.
Like a prize-fighting boxer, we're in round number 2 for the 6A ladies here. And as we said previously, Samantha and Nicole Humphreys are the ones to watch here. Nicole did not run this race last year, but she's in it this year. Number 1 ranked time in Texas. Samantha not far behind in number 2. But the competitors that we see most likely to be with them toward the end, Juanita Leal and Ava Bushall, they were running really well with those two earlier on in the day.
Now we're off for the second time in the girls 3,200 meters for 6A today. And it'll be interesting here to see how this race plays out tactically, right? Because, again, they ran half of this race already today, and it'll be interesting to see whether they try to go for a more tactical race or if someone's going to try to push this pace early. But it already looks like Madison Peters, hip 4, is going to try to take this lead here.
Yeah, Madison using this to her advantage out in front. You know, the Humphreys maybe decided, like, hey, we want to win this race, but we maybe want to conserve some energy since we already displaced it earlier in the day. I think for these runners, they're all trained really, really well. They have that energy in the tank. They will be able to score late on. But Madison Peters, just maybe I didn't like the first way I did it. We're coming back with another strategy in round 2.
Again, a retry for some of these athletes, and it's going to be Peters that's going to put the pressure on early. And then right behind her, too, there with hip number 7, that's going to be Stacy Lease. So they're going to go out to the front and really kind of put the pressure on the rest of this field to see how they're going to respond.
77 seconds for Peters out front while the chase pack comes through a couple seconds later.
And one thing we have to consider here, too, as well, a lot of these athletes are going to be, doubling back later in the 1,600 and also the 800 meters as well. For example, the Humphrey sisters are going to be doing the 800 and the 1,600 later, so they have to be thinking, okay, what can we do in this race to still potentially come away with, some titles while also being recovered enough to run well later this evening?
Yeah. I think there's definitely a lot of managing happening for Flower Mound, but in a race like 3,200 meters, you definitely have some time on your side. We can't let Madison Peters take the race out, get too far ahead of the girls, as we've talked previously about these longer races, but I think if they keep it within reason, they keep contact with her, they'll have a chance.
So it's still Peters and Lees going 1-2 there early on in this race as we come up around the 800-meter mark. And Peters, she was 6th in this race last year, and she finished 9th at the UIL 6A cross-country championships. So she has been one of the top athletes in 6A for quite some time. Yeah,
Peters has been impressive overall during her career. I mean, she's won a few races before, and I think she has the talent to take this.
Now it looks like that pack behind them is coming back to them a little bit here, so we're going to bunch back up here. So now we'll see where these tactics come into play.
And we talked earlier about the Humphreys running together. Now, earlier on, I think Samantha was more so out front. It might have been Nicole. They are twins. Apologize if I get that incorrectly. But they're running closer together this time around, whereas they were a little bit separated in the previous iteration of this.
Previous run, it was Sam who was pretty much leading the way the entire time before they were halted there on the track. But now they're all in that pack there together, kind of hanging in there as a duo. So now again, the field has come back to Peters and Lees there, who were leading in these early laps. And so now we're going to have to see, is anyone going to try to take control of this race now, or are we going to just kind of stick here content in this pack?
No, it looks very conservative at this point, right? I mean, they already ran 4 laps. It looks like they're going to maybe all agree to say, hey, we're going to stick together for 4 laps here, and then let's see where the other 4 laps take us, because right now they're all within a second of one another. Juanita Leal, who's in the back right now, is maybe 5 meters from the leader.
Yes, very tightly together. There's been some jostling between athletes trying to get out of the box position there on the rail. So this may become, we're approaching almost that 1,600 meter mark. So as we continue into the latter stages of this race, you got to be thinking, all right, this may turn into a situation where it's going to be a sit or kick kind of finish.
And at that point, it comes down to who has the 800 meter speed. You've seen Samantha and Nicole race often, and they're close. They're 210 girls roughly, so I think they definitely have some speed to lean on when that environment comes to the focus.
And as we head down to the straightaway leading into the halfway mark, that's going to be Lee's hip 7 still leading the way here from the junior. Then at hip number 8 too, you have Emma Wade. She snuck up there toward the front leader group here as well.
Yeah, Lee's is just a junior from Conroe Grand Oaks, and she comes in here with a time of 10:39. I don't think when you entered into the race you think Lee's is going to be the one leading the pack, but the way it's formed, I mean, she's got an opportunity now. They're past the halfway point now. I think this group has to dig in, and Lee's is definitely in contention now.
Yes, for a lot of these athletes, maybe some that weren't necessarily thinking that, hey, I may run, 10-11 here today to win a title. They have with the situation, this could be their time to shine and potentially pull off an upset here with some of these favorites.
I just hope they don't let it come down to a lap like the last lap. It looks like they're still sort of just eyeing each other up. No one's really making a move. It's almost feels like a training run, you know?
Yes. They did come through that first 1,600 there, 5:19 for the entire pack, essentially. Yeah. So there, again, no one has made a definitive move yet.
Yeah, I get it, but I think it's still a state championship race. And, the oddity of the first one was standing. I think somebody definitely just has to grab this at this point. This is the time to do it. With 1,200 meters to go, I think you definitely have to start moving.
And we are 3 racers wide now. And then there you go, hip number 5. That's going to be Nicole Humphreys. She's deciding that, hey, maybe now is the chance to go to the front and make a move.
Alongside Emma Wade of Cedar Park Vista Ridge. Emma Wade's gone 2:13 for 800 meters and 4:48 for 1,600 meters. So I think she's telling herself, hey, I think I can hang.
And there goes the 2 Humphreys twins out of Flower Mound, the juniors. They both make their move there with 3 laps to go, and so now they're going to go to the lead. And there goes Juanita Leal, too, on the outside, hip number 3. She's trying to get up with the leaders, too.
All things returning to normal from where they were originally.
So we got Leal there in 3rd, and that's also Ava Bushaw there in 4th out of South Lake Carroll. So now we're starting to see this pace ramp up here, Corey, and these athletes are going to string out this field and try to create some separation.
Fastest lap so far, from what I see, is just 78 seconds from earlier on Nicole in her 2nd lap. But I think with 2 to go, we will see this group ramping up, and they're going to test each other.
We now have a pack of 4 here leading this group. It's going to be the 2 Humphreys, Leal, Bushaw. They're now going to be fighting for these top podium spots here of this final 800 meters.
And they knocked it down to a 76-second lap over that last 400-meter marker here. Leal's trying to match their speed, and at some point she might make a move on those 2 girls.
That's true. Leal, she does have some good 1,600-meter and 800 speed, too, as well. And just as you say that, she's making a move now on Sam Humphreys, I believe. So now she's trying to go to the lead here and challenge Nicole.
I think that's smart. With 600 meters to go, you got to force them to react from your move. And if you could trust yourself, I think that's the way to go.
Of anyone in this field, it's those 3 or 4 right there that have the most 16,800 speed. So we're going to see who has another gear here going into this final lap here almost. Again, it's the two Humphreys, Leal, Bushaw. They are fighting here for a state title after a rerun here, so we'll see who can come away with the win.
Juanita Leal out to the front now are going to put the Humphreys in an interesting bind. They definitely have to make a move now on the Edinburg North athlete who's gone 4:47 for the mile. We could get an explosive 400 here, Ashley.
And it looks like she's really turning on the gas here. That's Leal. She took the lead going to the bell lap, and she's going to challenge these Humphreys twins to respond.
And she's forming a little bit of a gap on those two. They definitely have to reel her back in at this point with 2:50 to go. She's extending the lead.
That gap, like you said, is widening. It's Leal. She has this lead right now. We are just down to 200 meters to go, and she is, again, opening up.
Winner of the last 4 races of her season. She's lost just once at the 32 across the season. Actually, she's undefeated in the 32 this entire season. She might just bank a state championship.
And it looks like Juanita Leal is coming down this home stretch in the lead. 4th last year, the junior. And she is now sprinting her way to a 3,200-meter title here. Juanita Leal, what a finish here. This is going to be a very quick final lap for her to win this 3,200-meter title.
At one point, Juanita Leal was in last place in this race over the beginning stretch of it. Ends up winning in 10:19.19 with a 67 to completely gap Humphreys, Samantha and Nicole in the final 400 meters there.
Leal played that very smartly there. You know, as you mentioned, she was in last at the beginning of this race, and so she conserved that energy, then worked her way up, trusting her speed there at the end to get it done and get that title.
So a total of, 4,800 meters today, and Leal comes away with an actual title.
Technically ran a little bit more than 32 to get the 32 title, but kudos to all these athletes again in a tough situation here, but they come back. Leal gets the win in 10:19.19. The Humphreys, Samantha Humphreys gets second there. Nicole gets third. What an interesting finish here to these 3,200-meter races at the UIL Outdoor Championships.
Yeah, now we're going to take a little bit of a time off the track. We'll get to field events here. A lot of great stuff happening in the field, from the high jump, shot put, discus. Could we see a national record in the discus from Emma Sorella?
We could. We've got to keep our eyes on the field for sure. Well, that concludes the 3,200s here. We will be back returning